All right, welcome back to Prepping with Sarge. So I was asked to do another video showing how to plant a fruit tree in your yard. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're digging your hole twice as wide as the pot that the plant came in. Okay, so I'm going to show you here in a second what that looks like. Okay, so I've dug that hole twice as wide. You want to, basically when you're planting it, you want to figure out where you want to center it in there. You can put that dirt aside, you might reuse it, but I'm going to recommend you replace it with the best dirt you can get. Now this next part here is very important. When you get a new plant, you really want to untangle the roots. The reason being is they will actually, if you don't do this before you plant, they will over time grow in a circular motion, drawing out ruining the ability of that tree down the road. Like I'm talking several years down the road, you'll get what's called nutrient lock, and the roots will continue to circle the tree, basically starving it out because they can't reach out in the different directions. So you want to untangle this. I know it looks like I'm being pretty violent with it right now. Trust me, I filmed this several weeks ago and this tree is doing just fine. You basically want to untangle those, and you can even clip those roots to some extent if you need to. They will grow back. Just make sure that your pruners are nice and clean and get a diagonal cut. All right, now the next part here is you just want to backfill in with the best soil that you can afford, whatever that is. Try to source it locally if you can. And then I like to put in some cypress bark mulch on top of a new planting. It just tends to help the soil retain moisture, and the cypress bark mulch has some insect repelling properties. And then the last part here second to last part is you want to go around, and I know this is hard, but you want to give a little bit of a trim to any oddly growing branches, or even if there wasn't any oddly growing branches, you want to get cut off about 10% off the top. I know that's hard, but it actually will stimulate new growth in the first year, so it's a good thing to do. Make sure your pruning shears are nice and sharp and nice and clean. You want to get a nice clean cut when you do this. I'll show you what that looks like just right now. There we go. It wants to be a nice diagonal cut, and you just want to go around, take off somewhere between 10% and 30% off the top, especially any odd growing branches. All right, now the next thing that I want to show you here is what's called false fruit, and this is a different tree that I'm about to show you. Okay, on here you can see a couple false fruit. What this is, in the first couple years, you may get little fruits form like this, and you're gonna get excited and you're gonna think, oh, I got some peaches growing. Well, don't be surprised if those fall off in the first couple years. It's normal. This happens with all fruit trees, and to some extent with fruiting bushes as well. You shouldn't really get good production of your fruits until like maybe the 5th year or beyond. Usually 7th year is when it really starts getting good. Bushes are a little bit different, and usually in the 4th year, 3rd year or 4th year, you can start getting some decent production. But these false fruits are normal. You're gonna get excited, but don't be surprised if they die off or fall off. There's nothing wrong with your tree. It's just starting to grow up and starting to learn how to bear fruit, but it's not quite big enough or old enough to be able to do that yet. How often do I fertilize is a good question. So I usually just do it twice a year, usually in the fall and early spring. We'll do another video at some point about fruit tree spraying if you're into that. A lot of people don't want to do that. Just know that you can get some pests if you don't spray. It's however you want to run your own property. Now this last part here is about staking. Now I personally take these stakes off when I plant a tree. I've never had a big issue with it, but you can leave it on for the first year if you want to give it some stability. All right, and that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments down below. Let me know. I'm curious, what are you growing on your properties this year? Have you planted any new trees? I like to plant at least one new fruit tree every year on Earth Day, and then in the fall, sometimes I kind of see how my stuff is doing. Do I want to replace or plant anything new? But it's just kind of nice to add to your property every year a little bit. You get to watch over time as your own little fruit forest or food forest grows. It's kind of one of those concepts of permaculture that we like. Basically, instead of growing stuff that is, not going to be productive, you're growing food all over your property. And even with a small property like mine, I live in the city. My property is about 3/4 of an acre, which is not huge. I can grow a ton of food here. All right, so drop your comments down below. Let me know what you're growing down below. I really appreciate everybody. If you haven't already done so, please smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can hit that super thanks down below in that same bar with the like and subscribe button. We always appreciate that, and it helps me to produce more content for you. Keep planting your seeds, keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.